How's it going, everyone? Welcome or welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, we're going to be doing a 4-year update on the TLX Type S. So I'm going to be talking about all the issues I've had, along with all the issues, all the known issues that are kind of common with this vehicle. So obviously we have a whole bunch of modifications, a lot of cosmetic stuff. We have the 24 grille, we have Apex wheels, we have the smoke black emblems here all the way around. I also debadged the back here. So all we have is the Type S. I took out all the other stuff, and I vented my rear bumper, so that's a fairly newer mod. Also, we are on racing brake front and rear rotors with function work front pads and racing brake rear pads there. We also have the Lambda flash here, non-boost by gear, 93 fuel at this time. Also, we have some newly added Brahms seats here, so nothing were wrong with the old seats, just something that I wanted to change, and I wanted to reduce the weight of the vehicle a little bit. So now to some issues that I've had. Only issue I've really had with this car is I've noticed this is starting to kind of bubble up and rust here. So obviously that's a big disappointment, but maybe just give me the opportunity to change this to the illuminated ones, and we'll kind of see what happens. Everything else is nice. The OEM seats are wearing out great. I put a seat cover on OEM ones and these as well, but relatively speaking, the car has been essentially problem-free, even with all the testing that we're doing. Now, the next thing to talk about is the transfer case dilemma. Now, that seems to be super random at this point, and the reason why I say that is because this car has added power. It's been launched probably a good 150 times, and my transfer case, knock on wood, is still okay. So other people allegedly don't drive them even as hard and are having the transfer case where the splines meet the transmission strip on the transmission side, and they twist on the transfer case side. So obviously that's a big concern for the car going into the future. This is also an issue with the base TLX all-wheel drive, the RDX, and MDX Type S. So obviously something to keep an eye out for, but again, seems to be kind of random at this point. People think, well, the 23 doesn't have problems, the 24, too early to tell. This is a 21 model year. It's got 40,000 miles or so, and we're still doing okay. It's been launched plenty of times. It does have a significant amount of weight reduction, so that may be playing a role in it. We're just going to have to kind of see how that develops. I do have a full video on that, so if you're interested, I'll link that in the description section down below if you want to go ahead and check it out. So as far as the rest of the vehicle goes, this car is a quad cam setup here, so all new timing belt procedure, and the car is extremely dirty, so excuse me for that, but I am getting ready to get it fully detailed. I do it once a year, and the reason I do that and I leave this dirty for you guys is you guys can see how much stuff it collects and goes through the grill and the openings of the hood here and stuff like that. So it does get dirty, and again, once a year I get this fully detailed and ready for next year. So also have a custom downpipe. I got that ceramic coated, kind of keep some of that heat in there. Got the PRL charge piping, right? Front mount intercooler, and drop-in filter. Got the inlet here, and it's basically just bolt-on setup here. Also have a board throttle body and intake manifold, ported manifold. So other than that, the car, nothing done to the engine, and you're going to be looking at this timing belt, and you do need a special tool for this. So just keep that in mind when purchasing this car. That's going to have to be something that you consider in the future. So 7 years, 105,000 miles, you're going to need to replace that timing belt, whatever comes first. And it's going to be a significant job. So if you're looking at one of these vehicles, just keep that in mind. Also, fluids, maintenance, very important. Oil changes 3,000 to 5,000 miles. If you don't want to do that, do whatever you like. I've also upgraded to 5W30. So I do mine every 3,000 miles. I do a lot of testing. I will do a lot of, abusing on a vehicle. So I make sure that everything is tip-top shape. The transmission fluid, I'm doing every 15,000 miles. Again, on the aggressive side, you could probably do every 30,000 miles or so. Coolant every 45, so I'm going to be changing that soon. Brake fluid depends on what you do, but every 2 years or 30,000 miles is fine on that. And then the transfer case, which is underneath the vehicle, you're probably good for every 30,000 miles. There's no clutches in there or anything like that. But the rear differential, I would recommend every 15,000 miles. But again, if you do every 30, if you don't drive it too hard, it'll probably be okay as well. Now, a lot of people complain about brake noise. As you can see, I have the RB rotors and function work pads. These are Brembos. They're going to make noise. It is what it is. If you want a nice, quiet ride, get yourself a base Civic, and you won't have any brake noise issues. Anything with the Brembos, you can expect some sort of noise sometimes. And these are pretty good. I haven't had too many issues. Once in a while, we'll get some squealing, some squeaking, but overall, they've been pretty pleasant. But again, they are Brembos, so it happens, you know. Also, these windshields seem to crack fairly easily. Now, the bigger problem, you can see I have a huge split here. The biggest problem is I've been waiting on this since July of 2024. So we're talking now, we're in August, September by the time you see this video. So obviously that's a big concern. You could go aftermarket, but sometimes the positioning of this camera here isn't correct and could give you a whole bunch of issues and, you know, keep the car from all the safety features from actually working correctly. So just keep that in mind. If you want to do safe flight or something like that, go right ahead. But I opted to wait for the OEM windshield, even though I kind of regret it at this point. But initially I had one crack, and then I got a second crack right there, and it split all the way to the other one. So we got one chip here and one chip there. And I didn't hear this one. I just came out to the car and it was there. This one I heard on the highway, and immediately I saw the split. I said, well, I mean, I guess it was kind of good that I hadn't changed the windshield just yet, but it is what it is. So one thing that people complain about a lot this car is the lack of backseat space, which is a concern now. Both me and my wife are shorter and we have young kids. But these seats, being aftermarket, actually added 3 or 4 inches or so to the legroom back here, which is nice. But with the OEM seats, it's absolutely horrendous. So if you're a taller person and you have older kids, definitely something you want to consider there. Obviously not a issue, but it could be an issue for your personal, you know, preference or whatever, or your lifestyle or your situation with your children or, you know, whatever. So exhaust tips, they get super dirty. Again, I left them dirty on purpose here. So these I call the fun tips because when you, you know, rev it high or whatever, a wide open throttle, these are going to open. And that's how you can tell somebody's been enjoying the car as they should be. These never get as dirty, and the inner ones always get more dirty. So which is fine. I left them like this on purpose. Now I'm going to get it detailed, get them nice and cleaned, and I clean those regardless when I wash the vehicle. But yeah, overall, you know, that's it. The car's been great. There's not too many issues. There is a couple of recalls with the vehicle. Also, there's the known Fokker issue where the screens could go blank. You know, I have messages and stuff like that. Could also hear crackling and popping and stuff like that. But that's kind of stuff that's known about. And there is a repair procedure for that. So you have the 20-inch wheels that come with the car. They're extremely heavy. The Y spokes are 60 pounds and the multi-spokes are 66. So these come in at 45 pounds wheel and tire. So if by changing the wheels, it drastically changes the acceleration, the braking, and the handling of the vehicle. So I think it's a great addition to consider stepping down in size, but obviously that's up to you and not really an issue, just something, a preference. So that's going to be it for this video, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions, make sure you drop a comment down below. But yeah, 4 years overall, been a great experience besides the windshield and that rust on that door sill right there. But that's going to give me a chance to upgrade that to the illuminated ones and give the car that, you know, little bit of a OEM plus touch to it. So that being said, I'll catch everyone on the next one.